What has a close friend done to you that instantly made you hate them? Kept suggesting we should exchange partners for a night because he really wanted to sleep with my wife. Even made advances at her when I wasn't around. Murdered his underage girlfriend none of us knew about while she was pregnant. He lovingly placed a baby in my wife while I was working. That's one way of putting it. Drugged me at a rave without my consent and left me to die in a parking lot while he stole my laptop, some of my parents' jewelry, and money from my home. In his defense, crack is expensive. Allet, but one time I asked if we were going to the carnival together with my other friends, and she said no, we are all too busy. I went by myself with my mom. While there I saw her with my friend group. When she saw me, she whispered to the others, and they all tried to hide. I walked up and said hi and asked why they were there. Got shit about it being a last minute thing. She would always do this, leave me out, and ostracize me from my other friends. Helped her get a well-paid job at the massive corporate I work at. She then made a group chat of all of our mutual friends and would send photos of me in the office to laugh at my posture/physical attributes, etc. I only found out because she messaged the wrong group chat. Not one friend but multiple. Smashed my girlfriend, all 5 of my friends while we dated. Only found out because one of them had gotten her pregnant and she aborted it. I found the email on her phone. I had a friend who grew up from modest means. He was a real nice kid and he worked real hard to make something of himself. He succeeded, got a dream job that made tons of money, and became a complete asshole in the process. He started acting like he was better than everyone now that he was rolling in the dough, to the point where he was rude almost all the time. He could turn any conversation into how he was so rich and everyone else what a poor f***ck. I remember a friend of mine really liked a dining set that would go with her diner, so her husband got them for her birthday present. The first thing that came out of this guy's mouth was, "Why'd you get these? Because they're cheap as f***ck." After being best friends from age 7 to our mid-20s, I had to ghost this chick and our entire friend group because she was trying to convince my husband to cheat on me with her. There had been several smaller things leading up to this, like telling me my husband was too attractive for me and would be better with her, but it blew my mind when he showed me the texts she sent, topless, and telling him I'd never have to know. I ghosted her. Then our friends started saying I should just forgive her, that I was choosing some guy over our 17-year friendship, and that by not talking to her I was causing tension in our circle of friends, making them choose sides amongst themselves. So I said I didn't want to cause tension and I resolved the issue by removing myself from the entire circle of friends. They can have her. That was 17 years ago, and I still don't answer their calls, and know I made the right decision. My husband and I would have celebrated our 20th last month. He died 5 years ago though. My best friend cheated on his wife. We were all great friends. I was the best man at their wedding. But when it happened, it sickened me and made me see all the other ways he was manipulating us all. My wife and I are still good friends with the one who was cheated on. I haven't spoken to him in almost 15 years. Most of the best friends I've had throughout my life were always fun, silly, and totally themselves when it was just us hanging out, but as soon as we got in a group, they acted like I was annoying and turned on a whole different persona. It's actually sad how many times it's happened, and probably explains why my only friend now is my wife. Had a close friend who had wealthy parents. He knew mine was financially struggling. Every time we had a disagreement about something, he would start saying things like, "At least my family is not f***king poor," as well as insults about not being able to afford certain things. Always choosing others over me. I'm only her best friend for her to vent about her life. Fuck my girlfriend and lie to my face about it over and over, and go around to our other friends admitting it. I'm a guy who was friends with a girl in high school, but we never started hanging out outside of school until the very end of it. A year or two later she was having a house party one night and out of nowhere starts yelling at another girl we were friends with and me about how she knew we were part of a conspiracy to break into her house and clean her carpets while she was out of the country visiting a former foreign exchange student, and then she kicked us both out. That walk to my car was one of the most hurt and confused walks I ever had. Even her boyfriend said she went off the deep end that night. Asked for advice how to get away with cheating on their husband. Bitch, you don't. You get divorced and move on. Ignored me completely until all of her other friends left. Then suddenly I was her B Street friend again. Told them I considered them my best friend since childhood, and they responded with yeah, well we are no longer children. I asked my childhood best friend if I could start talking to a girl he had dated and split up with. Several years had passed and he lost his shit, so I let it go and didn't pursue the girl in order to save the friendship. Fast forward a little more than 2 years and I catch him in bed with the girl I was currently dating. Instead of knocking him out like I wanted, I calmly grabbed my stuff and left. They both began to flood me with calls and messages saying how shitty of a person I was being about the situation and not hearing out why. I haven't spoken more than a couple words to him since. They split up like a week later and he tried to apologize, but I don't need that in my life. He still messages me on my birthday every year trying to get me to go drinking with him, and I'm still ignoring his messages. In a long ass story short, I came home to our rented house to find the 3 roommates I had quietly bought a house and were moving out in 30 days. With all the utilities in one person's name, not mine. He cancelled it all without asking to transfer it. They moved out a week and a half later. Not one damn word. Last we spoke we'd end the lease in 3 months time and go our ways, no harm, no foul. Landlord was pissed. Friends failed to give 60 days notice. And landlord was pissed as they had basically evicted me under his lease. He let me out, not late terms or cleaning costs. He charged that all to them. Landlord turned out to be the better friend. His dog got brutally attacked, and he left it to suffer. Dude, I actually have an interesting story, but I'm going to tell it in a super short way. My friend proposed to leave her husband and run away with me because she thought I was into her. When I said no, that I only saw her as a friend, she went back to her husband, who was also my friend, and said that I had manipulated her. She said a lot of things. Then I lost both their friendship. Stole my 10mm socket. Underappreciated statement. As a amateur mechanic I see the tyranny in this. I wouldn't say hate, but trying to start a forks relationship with your friend because you need someone to bring home the bacon for you and your unborn child, and then telling said friend to just die alone when they politely decline, fully knowing said friend is seriously struggling with bouts of loneliness, doesn't spark joy. Woke up with my shirt off, bra unhooked, pants undone, while he was fondling my boobs and trying to put his hands down my pants. Half asleep, I pulled away, not thinking much of it, then realized that he was going to continue to try, regardless of consent. I left. He called several times to apologize over the next few weeks straight to voicemail. The final call, he announced it was his final call, as if I would beg for his friendship back. Rot in hell, William. Shared his GF's nudes. When taking about the Cosby scandal she said, oh please, what did those women expect? She did a 180 on a ton of things. We are no longer friends. She turned into a terrible person. Repeatedly cheated on her partner, then told me in detail about what was going on, but expected me to keep it a secret and lie for her. She promised me it'd stop after she told me, but it didn't. Her daughter was 5 years old at the time. Wanted me to stand in his wedding with a dude that assaulted my wife. Someone I knew for years pulled a .45 calorie gun on me for no reason, at least not a good one. He invited me over the night before, and I wasn't up for it cause him and his dumb girlfriend routinely fight. So I came over the next night when he called. They were fighting again at one point and my friend went in his room to go to bed after I'd been there for like an hour. I opened the door asking to just come play a video game, and he aimed that thing at me. I drove the fuck out to there and texted him to never contact me again. I found out a couple years later from his little brother he was arrested for domestic terrorism for pulling his gun on his next door neighbor too. Would continually pretend like she never did anything wrong. She would sweep all things negative about herself under a rug. If you told her for the 100th that she did something to hurt your feelings or upset you, she would pretend she had no idea where it all came from and would cry/swear/get angry, depending on the mood of the convo, and would promise to never do it again. Of course this would last a week/2 maximum and she would be right back to her pre-meltdown behavior. Found out later she was doing the exact same thing to her now ex-boyfriend, but nobody else. He made a joke of it when my horse broke her leg and had to be shot to put her out of her misery. There were things leading up to that, but that was the last straw since I was so emotionally devastated from the loss. Stabbed me in the back, not metaphorically, literally. She flew halfway across the world to get married, the same state, city where I live, where we both grew up. She even flew her small bridal party and family out for the occasion. She didn't invite me. 17 years of friendship down the drain. Facilitated a mutual friend and my girlfriend at the time having a full-blown affair behind my back. Dude would invite me to lunch/dinner/movies/concerts/etc. so that I'd be guaranteed to have plans, so my girlfriend and the other dude could go on dates without worrying about getting caught. Dude was my best friend for a decade and an uncle to my daughter. Instantly hated him. Haven't spoken to him now in a longer amount of time than I knew him. By incredibly unfortunate luck, I was raped by the guy my best friend lost her virginity to. It was awful, because I didn't want to ruin the memory of her first time, but I had to tell her, because it was someone we knew, and I had started avoiding them. A few days after I told her, she asked if we could talk. The talk essentially consisted of her telling me that I had really hurt her, and the equivalent of what I had done was if she had slept with my boyfriend of 2 years. I'm still mad that she implied that I wanted the rape and that she made the worst thing that's happened to me about her. I'll never be able to forgive her for it. That bitch told me your mother was never wrong. You were a weak child during a reconciliation session she insisted on. Lied about being raped by my best friend. I don't know why she did it, but she destroyed his entire life with that one lie. He lost his friends, got banned in all clubs in our village, lost his job etc. because who would support a supposed rapist? Poor guy killed himself 2 months later. And before the question pops up, why I know he was innocent. He was with me at that time it happened. About 643 kilometers, 400 miles, away. Wow, that's horrible. Poor guy. Asked for a fairly substantial loan that she wanted me to keep secret from my husband. I don't mind spotting someone $10 or $20 on occasion, but asking for an amount that was more than my entire monthly paycheck at the time and then asking me to keep that secret from my spouse was not acceptable. Fucked my girlfriend. Jokes on him, he's been dumped for fucking around so many times. He's just destroyed his marriage doing that, and he's up to his balls in debt. Jokes on that asshole. Outed me to the rest of our Air Force squadron. Fell through their trampoline net with their sister, Akira hole was ripped, landed on my neck, and I was paralyzed for 5 minutes, and had severe bruising in my neck and all they were concerned about was their trampoline, and how I ruined it. I was like 12, scared that I would have to buy them a new trampoline over an accident, and felt hurt and betrayed that she hadn't cared that I could have broken my neck. I cut her off completely. My sister was still friends with her sister though. I'm glad I moved away from being her friend because she was mean to other kids and I was picking that up. Now she's a frigid bitch who wishes her anorexic sister would die so she wouldn't be embarrassed by her. My best friend of 35 years told her BF at the time about all of our fuckery and shenanigans. I found this out when he decided to try and get with me and I declined. He then threatened to blackmail me by telling my husband about everything I've ever done in the time span of our friendship. She did nothing to stop him or stand up for me. She let him try to bully me and blackmail me into sleeping with him. I didn't. I told him to go ahead and do whatever he needed to do. Needless to say, I was not invited to their wedding. Had a friend through high school and beginning of college. Went to a small college with him. First day of class, we sit down and there's 20 people in the room. Everyone is around the same age, except for one woman, who was about 60 and finally finishing her degree when she could afford it, we found out later. My friend turns to me and, in a relatively loud voice, says, "Why is she even here? She going to die soon anyways." Immediately yelled at him and sat on the other side of the room, never spoke to him again. The anger I felt when he said that, holy crap you guys. Every last close friend cheated and bragged, which was enough for me to detest them, but then they'd whine like bitches when their GFS cheated. Why the hell I tolerated these people in my life? Even some of their criminal activities didn't aggravate me as much as this, and after years of hearing about it, I just came to really hate them on some level. Raped my girlfriend in a sleepover. He was my best friend. I thought he would never do such things, but here he was. I woke up seeing him rape her while she was asleep. No, my girlfriend wasn't pretending to sleep, the girl was genuinely, and my once good friend took advantage. Tried to get my parents into a pyramid scheme. Was my best friend since 4th grade. After that happened, never spoke to him again. Asshole can go fuck himself. Came to my house for 3 nights, 4 days and had lice, but didn't tell me until after she already left. I had to strip everything in my house and take it to a laundromat. Through sheer incompetence burned our home to the ground, lost our entire lifetime of collections, memorabilia, and keepsakes. Everything we had hoped to pass on to children and grandchildren. It's been absolutely brutal going into our twilight years homeless. I worked too damn hard for too long to end up like this.